Good morning. Welcome everybody. If you're watching the replay, how are you? Let me know if this is helpful for you. I am Naomi, food and health coach. So I'm going out. I have a hair appointment after almost a year to get this in a new shape. And I have to leave in about 10 minutes. Now it's super early at the time I'm recording this. It's 8:32 a.m. and I haven't really had a chance to eat and I'm really not that hungry, but I know that while I'm traveling and while I'm at the hair appointment or whatever, I'm gonna get hungry. So I wanna be prepared with snacks that are actually gonna fill me up and are gonna be nutritious and all that. So I'm preparing two things to go. And I just decided to prepare it on here. So one thing I'm gonna take with me is a protein shake. Because it keeps you super satisfied. And protein is just one of the things that you should be having like early in the morning before anything else. Not early in the morning, but as one of your first meals, I should say. So one of the easiest things that I can take with me is a protein shake. The one I love is this one, is Truvani, because it's super clean. This version, the vanilla, only has 5 ingredients. Organic pea protein concentrate, vanilla powder, organic pumpkin seed concentrate, monk fruit, chia seed, protein concentrate. So it's super clean, but that is not even the reason why I love it so much. Is because I've tried other protein powders in the past and they're just so complicated. Like you have to blend them or you have to add other things to them. Blend them in a blender. You have to add other things to them for them to taste good. And sometimes I just don't have that time. I need something super quick. And it's actually a product that I also recommend to my clients because a lot of them, most of my clients are like an even split between educators. They work in schools. And the other half are corporate, level, like mid, high level executives, right? So they are always on the run and now they're starting to travel a lot. So one of the best ways to just get something quick in if you have an emergency is literally having a blender bottle and a scoop of this. And literally with water, it just tastes good. So that's one of the reasons why I love that. And for my other snack, I'm gonna take an apple with peanut butter. Now, this looks complicated, but what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna start doing it now because I really have to go in like 10 minutes. I cut this whole center of the apple out, and then I fill it in with peanut butter, and I wrap the apple in some like saran wrap so I can take it with me. And just be careful not to cut yourself, because in the start is like a little, hard, but it's like a little inverted ice cream cone almost that I make with this. I'll show you the end. Always try not to get cut. I kind of push it out. Please be careful when I'm doing this. I don't know if there's a product out there that can help core this out. I know there's one that you can cut the entire apple and it cores it, but that's not the goal. The goal is to leave just a hole in the middle of the apple. I don't want it to get cut. So I've kind of cut a square around it and it can get a little messy. And then I'm just popping it out. Like you see, it's just coming out. And look, the core starts to come out and you start to get this hole in the center. So now I just cut out the rest of the core. It becomes a lot easier. Like once you're here, you can start to cut the core out. And we're almost there. The bottom is still there. So it's gonna hold your peanut butter or whatever nut butter you want actually in. If you don't have time for this either, what I've done in the past too is I've taken just the whole apple like this. And I take in a little Ziploc bag. Don't mind my kids in the back. They're like playing something. And I take a little Ziploc bag with nuts on the side, whatever your favorite nuts are, cashews, pistachios, walnuts, and I do that. So you see that took like, I don't know what, like 2 minutes. Here's my apple. Here's the center. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the peanut butter and I'm gonna stuff it. And this is how you can take an apple with peanut butter on the go. And you don't have to like separate it, to dig it in or anything, like to dip your peanut butter in. So you just start to fill in this hole. And if you want to do this like the day before, it holds up well also. I was actually going to do this last night, but I was so tired. I was like, no, I'll just do it in the morning. So now when I'm hungry, I have like these 2 beautiful snacks, and I'm gonna have all 3 groups. I'm gonna have my protein, I'm gonna have the carb, which is basically this apple, and I'm gonna have a fatty with this peanut butter and like extra protein too. So what I would probably do first is drink the protein shake, and then I would have the snack. And I promise you, this will keep you full for hours and hours and hours and hours, as simple as this looks. So, and it travels well, right? Like you don't really need to refrigerate it. You can throw it in your bag. So here it is. The apple with peanut butter. You just have to start biting into it, and then you're gonna see the peanut butter in the center. Now I'm just gonna go grab, don't mind the mess in my kitchen, some saran wrap to wrap that in so you can see the final product. And if you guys have other more eco-friendly stuff, then you know we can do that too. But here you go. Actually, I like to kind of seal the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna kind of just press that in so it stays there. And if you do this the day before, you leave it in the fridge, it kind of sets better inside. Because this peanut butter was not in the fridge, so it's runny. Because remember, with peanut butter, you want it to be a clean version. You want to make sure when you're choosing your peanut butter that it does not have any added sugars or oils inside. I like mine salted, so and that's fine. But a lot of peanut butters have added sugars, added powdered sugars, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, like all these ingredients inside that kind of defeats the purpose of having a good fat like a peanut butter around. So the one that I'm using is like a Trader Joe's brand, not a Trader Joe's, sorry, Whole Foods brand. And the ingredients are just, let me see if I can get this to focus, dry roasted peanuts and salt. That's all. So you'll get a clean stack, and that's it. I've created it in like 3 minutes. These are the scraps. And now I'm gonna make the fastest protein shake ever, and this is what I love because I just really don't have time. Oops, that was loud. I just really do not have time to stick out my blender, and then you have to clean all of that. And then although I am gonna put vanilla unsweetened vanilla almond milk in this one, whenever I don't have the opportunity to do that, just water, it tastes great. And in the morning, I know some people like they don't really want to eat anything, so this is a drink still that's still going to really satisfy you, give you that substance that you need, is gonna, you know, give you energy. Sometimes it's not the coffee, you guys, like you're crashing your energy, right? I know last night or yesterday in my stories I spoke a lot about keeping your sugar balanced, and this is a way to do that. So protein and healthy fats are a way to keep your sugar balanced because it anchors your carbohydrate. Just quickly, what I was talking about was that think of the foods that you're eating like a hot air balloon, and the carbohydrate is the top of a hot air balloon without the basket. So what happens if you have a hot air balloon with no basket is gonna run wild, right? It's just gonna shoot up and run wild. That's the same thing that happens when you have a lot of carbohydrates and nothing anchoring it down. Or you're not moving your body, right? Like you're not using that energy. And then your body starts to produce a lot of insulin to try and bring that sugar down. But the problem is that we're going to continue doing this and continue doing this when you have so much insulin in your body. Your body's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with all this. I need to put it somewhere. So it starts to store it as fat inside of your body and in your muscles. And then it's really hard to get that back out, right? So one of the ways, a few ways to anchor your carbohydrate, to put that basket on there, is to include proteins and healthy fats. Either having it before your meal or with your meal. So let's say you're having a piece of toast, having 2 hard-boiled eggs on the side, a protein shake before, like something like that, right? So actually one of my favorite ways to have this protein shake is as a matcha protein shake. So I have this matcha powder here, is one of my favorites. And I just, especially since it's the morning, if I'm doing this in the afternoon, I don't, because matcha does have caffeine. It's so nice and green. However, the way your body processes the caffeine in matcha is very different from the way it processes caffeine in coffee. Is a much more even release of energy. So it's not going to really produce, unless you're having excessive amounts of it, like a really high that you get with coffee and then a big crash. Is much more sustainable because it has so many more antioxidants. It actually has a little bit of fiber inside because of the ground up, a tiny bit, ground up matcha leaves, and it has like really like L-theanine and things like that. So that helps anchor the caffeine in matcha specifically. So I'm going to grab some water because most of it is going to be water. And I'm just blending it here, but I'm not going to take it here because I want it to stay cold, and I'm going to put some ice in it. So I'll be using this almond milk. I'm putting some in there. So I just want to make sure that it all gets like shaken well. I don't want to put it in the thermos beforehand. And literally it's just this fast to make this protein shake. You don't need to take your blender out, like put extra things in here, none of that. So in the meantime, I'm going to grab my thermos, which is one of my favorites. This, like whatever you put in here stays super hot or super cold, like for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I'm just shaking it up here. Since I'm taking it to go, I'm gonna put it in here. This is a Zohirushi brand. I have, I don't know how many of those. I love them. This is nice and green, so it'll give me some energy. It'll give me some nutrients. It'll keep me nice and full. I don't have to worry about being starving somewhere downtown and like trying to rush to find something to eat and then leaning on the first thing I find. Like these are the type of situations that if you have some extra time and you plan ahead a little bit, like it can change your whole world. Because what ends up happening is you end up running into somewhere, a drugstore somewhere, and like you grab candy, you grab chips, you grab a bar, like you're just in a rush, you're starving, you're desperate now, and that can really be avoided if we just plan ahead a little bit. So I don't want to make a mess, so I'm just gonna pour this in here, and then I'm gonna pour ice so it stays really nice and cold. There's still some space in there. I actually didn't pour extra milk or anything because I wanted to make sure I wasn't overfilling this. So I'm just gonna add some more water to clean this out and add it to that.
You have about 3 of those water bottles.
Thank you. You see, I wasn't kidding. And the boys have their own too.
And Dad.
Yes.
What the heck?
So there's just a little bit of room in here for ice, which is gonna keep this nice and cold as I go on my way. And I'm gonna put that in a second. And now I have a protein shake to go and an apple with peanut butter to go, which is gonna be my breakfast. And when I leave, because in the morning I had some lemon water in here with some iodine for my thyroid. And that's what I've had all morning, and I haven't really been hungry. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you make it yourself. I will send you a pic of the apple while I'm eating it. And if you guys are interested in any support like this, if you are interested in losing 10 pounds at a time, cleaning up what you're eating, having like quick, nutritious and delicious snacks like this on the go, just really feeling prepared as your day goes on, especially now with going back to work, a lot of transition and happening. I'm happy to support you. Reach out and book a consultation. I cannot wait to talk to you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.